think the rule is simple. People think the words, "don't run," are just advice, but they are not. They are a warning written in pain, because the moment you run, the toy remembers the night it was abandoned. And when it remembers, it comes for you. The toy looks harmless at first, almost familiar, shaped like a classic Minnie Mouse plush that everyone remembers from childhood, round ears too large for its head, a small bow stitched crookedly between them, a faded dress clinging to its thin body, but everything about it feels wrong. The colors are darker. The red looks like dried blood. The white looks yellowed and old, and the smile is stitched just a little too wide, stretching close to the edges of its face like it was pulled by shaking hands. One button eye is shiny and glassy, reflecting light like it's wet, while the other is cracked and sunken, with black thread leaking out like veins. And when you look at it too long, you feel like the eyes are not looking at you, but through you, like it is searching your memories for something it can use. The toy belonged to a little girl named Mira, 5 years old, small and quiet, always holding the plush by one ear because it made her feel brave when she crossed the street. And on the night she died, she was chasing the toy as it slipped from her hands and rolled onto the road. Headlights appeared too fast. A car hit her hard enough to throw her body forward, and the driver did not stop. Not even for a second. Tires screamed, the engine roared, and the sound faded into the night, leaving Mira alone on the road with her broken body and her toy lying just out of reach. Witnesses said she was still alive for a short time, crying softly, calling for help, calling for someone to stop, but nobody moved. Cars slowed and then sped up. Doors stayed locked. Fear kept the people frozen. And when the street finally went quiet, the toy was sitting beside her head, its face pressed against her cheek, soaked in blood. That was where the spirit went, not into the ground, not into the air, but into the only thing that stayed with her, the plush that never ran. After the funeral, the toy was thrown away, but it came back, sitting near the road every night, always facing the direction the car escaped, and people who passed by felt something heavy in their chest, like guilt they could not explain. The first attack happened when a stranger jogged past the toy late at night, felt sudden fear for no reason, and ran. The moment his feet hit full speed, the streetlights flickered, the air grew cold, and the toy's shadow stretched long and thin, standing up on its own, bending in ways a shadow should not bend. Security cameras later showed the plush changing, its soft body stiffening, stitches tearing open, black liquid leaking from the seams, its head tilting sharply as the bow sank into the fur, like it was being swallowed. Small footsteps followed the man, fast and uneven, mixed with a child's crying and a deep, wet growl underneath it. And just before he fell, the toy appeared in front of him, no longer small, no longer cute, its face split open at the mouth, revealing darkness inside, its button eye spinning wildly, its broken eye bleeding thread, whispering in a shaking child's voice, "Don't run. Please don't run." I waited. He was found alive but silent, unable to speak, with deep claw marks around his ankles shaped like tiny hands. From then on, the pattern became clear. The toy only appeared when people ran, when panic took control, when someone chose speed over stopping. And every time it appeared, it was more damaged, more bloody, more twisted, like it was reliving the accident again and again. When it moved, its head jerked like a broken doll, its limbs bent backward, its dress dragged along the ground soaked in fresh red, and when it laughed, it sounded like a child choking back tears. Survivors said the most terrifying part was not the attack, but the moment before it, when they felt sudden guilt flooding their chest, memories of times they walked away from accidents, ignored cries, chose convenience over kindness, and the toy fed on that feeling, growing heavier, louder, closer. Drivers who sped away from near misses reported seeing the plush sitting in their back seat, humming softly, its bow dripping blood onto the seats, its voice whispering, "Slow down, slow down." You didn't stop until they either pulled over or crashed. One woman said she felt small hands wrap around her steering wheel, turning it gently, guiding her back to the road where the child died, forcing her to stop and sit there crying until morning while the toy watched from the hood of her car. Investigators tried to destroy it, burn it, bury it, lock it away, but every attempt failed because the toy was no longer just fabric and stuffing. It was memory, regret, and a child's last feeling of being left behind. When they cut it open, there was no cotton inside, only dark, wet clumps and something that felt warm and pulsed when touched. Audio recordings captured soft singing coming from sealed rooms, a child's lullaby distorted and slow, ending with the words "Don't run" repeated again and again. The darkest footage shows the toy during a full manifestation, when someone ran directly past the accident site, and the plush changed completely, standing upright, its Minnie-like ears torn and bent, its bow fused into its skull, blood pouring from its stitched smile, its small hands growing long and sharp, dragging across the pavement as it crawled forward, screaming in two voices at once, one begging, one furious. In that footage, just before it reaches the victim, it stops and asks one question in a small broken voice: "Why didn't you stop?" And when the person collapses instead of running, the toy freezes, tilts its head, and slowly returns to its plush form, sitting quietly beside them, soaked in blood, but calm, like a child who finally feels seen. The final case involved the driver who killed Mira, identified years later, when guilt finally made him run from the police. Cameras caught him sprinting down the same street, breathing hard, panic taking over, and behind him, the toy appeared fully formed, no longer hiding its true shape. Its body split open from the chest, blood pouring out endlessly, its eyes glowing with pain and rage, screaming, "Don't run," in a voice that cracked the air. And when he fell and begged, the toy crawled onto his chest, pressed its head against his heart, and went silent. The next morning, only the toy remained, clean again, sitting peacefully at the roadside, bow straight, smile stitched neatly, waiting. And now the toy still appears, near crosswalks, near highways, near places where people hurry and don't look back. And if you ever feel the sudden urge to run for no reason, if your heart races and your legs move before you think, remember the rule that was written the night a child was left alone on the road, because the toy does not hate, it remembers, and it will never stop reminding the world what happens when people choose to run instead of stopping.